Now we move on to the other sector of the fixed income market, capital markets. Capital markets, as we mentioned previously, are entail fixed income instruments that are outstanding for 1 year or more. So, um, the quite a few different types of securities in the capital markets. One of the largest is government issues, including U.S. Treasury bonds and notes. U.S. Treasury bonds and notes uh, are issued. Bonds are typically 30 years. Notes can be 2, 3, 5, 7, and 10 years. At times, the Treasury has issued bonds for shorter maturities than 30 years, but for the most part, that's what's issued. Um, Denominations similar, much like the T-bills, $10,000 minimum denomination, and increments of 1,000. So interest type is add-on. So they'll be issued with a face value, and interest will be paid based on the coupon rate in addition to the principal. Risk is very low. The one risk that bonds and notes face that's not necessarily faced or not nearly as significant by T-bills is interest rate risk. And taxation is identical to T-bills, meaning that the interest is subject to federal tax. However, it is exempt from state and local taxes. Treasury also issues what is called TIPS, or Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. These securities are the principal is increased every year based on the change in the consumer price index. So the coupon, the interest rate on those securities does not change. However, the principal will grow based on inflation. If you're looking at a quote sheet, they'll be marked with a trailing I. If you're the quote sheet, could be a quote sheet in the Wall Street Journal or on a Bloomberg terminal if you happen to have access. Figure 2.3 is a listing of a few different Treasury maturities from April 18th, 2017. We have maturities from 2019 to 2047. The May 31, 2020 issues highlighted. It has a 1.5% coupon, and the bid is 100.3047. That means that for every $100 of face value, you would receive roughly $100.30 for that. If you were to buy it, you would pay the ask, or the dealer would sell it to you at the $100, where you would pay $100.32. The change is just the change from the previous day, and the ask yield to maturity is the yield to maturity for that price. We'll do some calculations. I'll post later showing you how to calculate prices for both T-bills and Treasury bonds and notes. Other federal issues include what are called agency securities. These are agencies of the federal government. Many or most of them are mortgage related. Fannie Mae, Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, or Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, or Federal Home Loan Bank, all are mortgage-backed securities. Originally, Ginnie Mae was thought to be the only one that was fully guaranteed by the U.S. government. However, the U.S. government stepped in and took over during the financial crisis, both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These securities are certainly not without risk, because they are they are backed by the underlying pools of mortgages that they securitize. The as I mentioned, the backing was implied by the government, but it's now absolute because both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are still owned by the federal government. Municipal bonds. Municipal bonds can be issued by any number of issuers, cities, states, toll roads, hospitals. They can be certainly differ from treasuries and agencies because they are issued for much different purposes. The most similar to treasuries would be general obligation bonds. However, the general obligation bonds are, only that the issuer of those securities pledges the full faith and credit. So if the Bell County issues general obligation bonds, they pledge to raise taxes to whatever level necessary to pay those bonds off. Revenue bonds can be issued for any number of things. I mentioned toll roads, hospital revenue bonds, industrial revenue bonds are often used to finance power plants. Water and sewer revenue. Revenue bonds are only backed by the revenues pledged to pay those bonds. So they certainly can be riskier than, and in many cases are riskier than general obligation bonds. Mentioned industrial development already. Taxation. The municipal bonds are generally tax exempt on a federal, state, and local level. On the state and local level only applies to the state in which they were issued. So if you owned a state of Texas general obligation bond and you lived in Alabama where they have an income tax, the interest on that bond would be subject to the state and local taxes there. Right.